What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some very spicy battles in the Open Great League submitted to the channel by Fernando Lovebox, who's running Dusclops, Klinklang and Shadow Alolan Dugtrio. So let's just get straight into the question of the day. Which Pokemon surprised you the most by its attack stat in the Open Great League, either because it's much higher or much lower than you thought it was? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, Dusclops into Excadrill. Now, this is a fairly neutral matchup. Unfortunately, not running Fire Punch, so we won't be able to hit for super effective damage. But honestly, Excadrill is very likely to shield anyways. But the opponent actually swaps into Mandibuzz, so we're going to bank a ton of energy swap here, hoping maybe to catch an Aerial Ace. But the opponent does full send a Dark Pulse, and now we're going to farm to the Hyper Beam. Unfortunately, we don't quite get there. We're actually going to no shield here, and it's another Dark Pulse that actually just fully takes out the Klinklang. So that is really bad for us. I'm not so sure about the plays we've made in this battle so far, but we can go for these Ice Punches. Unfortunately, Mandibuzz, very bulky, can very easily tank 2 Ice Punches so far, make it to another charge move. Dark Pulse would take us out from this range very comfortably. So here we're going to overfarm, throw on the CMP tie. Dusclops does win CMP here. Dusclops also takes out the Mandibuzz. They come back in with the Excadrill, and we can go straight for another Ice Punch. Ice Punch grabs a shield. We swap into our Shadow Alolan Dugtrio, and the opponent has a Toxapex in the back, and this is probably one of the best things we can possibly see. We grab the shield with the Mud Bomb. The opponent also throws on Alignment, giving us a full Mud Slap in for free, and now we can safely shield this up, go for the Mud Slap farm down, and we know Excadrill is very attack weighted, but Alolan Dugtrio has an even higher attack stat, so we win the CMP tie. Mud Bomb takes out the Excadrill, and we're able to take that game. So, despite the monumental mistake there with that Klinklang, we were still able to come back thanks to the sheer massive damage from that Shadow Alolan Dugtrio. But here up against Azumarill, we're going straight for the Poltergeist, dealing big damage there as the opponent lets that go through. We can safely no shield anything. They go for a Play Rough. We're now going to safe swap into Klinklang. It makes sense. We need to bait out a potential fighting type that they might have in the back. The opponent comes in with a Venusaur. We full send the Hyper Beam, nearly one-shotting them, but unfortunately they do live that. They get off a charge move, but they go for Sludge Bomb, which is a very strange play from the opponent. Both moves are resisted from the Venusaur, but Sludge Bomb is double resisted and also a worse move than the Frenzy Plant. So definitely, if you are a Venusaur up against a pure Steel type, you want to go for that Frenzy Plant, unless you're just going for a deliberate BM there, which is also fine, but not the case in that scenario. And here we're going to farm up a ton of energy, grab the shield from Azumarill. We actually don't go for the Hyper Beam here. Does a Mirror Shot take them out? No, it barely doesn't, and we do throw again. Not sure why the opponent isn't going to try and throw a charge move here, but I think they've kind of just accepted defeat at this point. They come in with their Jellicent, and we should be able to make it to a Poltergeist very comfortably. Just safely shield this up, and the opponent is going to full send the Shadow Ball. That just guarantees the win here, as we can go for the Poltergeist. This is a very hard-hitting move. It's super effective. It one-shots the Jellicent, and we're able to take that game. Internet's going to see Trevenant in the lead, so this is a fairly neutral matchup. Obviously, Shadow Claw much better than Hex, but we can go for an Ice Punch straight away. Now, typically, you don't want to throw as soon as possible because that would not be on good timing, but what it does is it forces the opponent to make the first move. They do shield. They also go for a bait, so we can get to another Ice Punch, potentially grab both shields from the opponent, or just get the Trevenant very low, and we do get them very low. We're now going to swap into Klinklang, use our shield here. The opponent goes for another Seed Bomb bait, and they swap into Obstagoon. Now, they will make it to a charge move. Cross Chop probably doesn't quite take us out from this range. They actually go for Night Slash though, and we make it to a Hyper Beam. Does the opponent respect the damage here? They do not. That does huge damage, and now I think they don't quite have a charge move loaded, so we might just come in with the Dugtrio, go for the Mud Slap farm down, and we get that farm down in just one Mud Slap. They've got a Steelix in the back, and this is an absolutely amazing matchup for us. You can see we tried to catch the Breaking Swipe there. We're actually going to shield this. That honestly would do quite a lot of damage considering it is resisted, non-stab, and a 35 energy move. But here we're now going to successfully catch the next Breaking Swipe onto our Dusclops. That doesn't quite take us out. They do get the Dragon Tail farm down, but the opponent recognizing there's nothing they can do, and they just concede the match there. Into next game, we see Skeledirge in the lead, so we are going to stay in this lead matchup, and we are going to see the opponent swaps into Greninja. We don't have the strongest response, so we're going straight for the Poltergeist. Poltergeist grabs a shield from the opponent there, and that's pretty good for us. We're now going to come in with the Kling Klang. The opponent going to go for that Hydro Cannon. Does big damage in this matchup. Not ideal. Unfortunately, they do outpace us to the next charge move. As they go for the Night Slash, we are going to full send the Hyper Beam. No point baiting with a Mirror Shot. It would do very little damage, but the Hyper Beam takes out the Greninja. They come in with a double. Not too ideal for us there. If they are running Payback, then this is a really tricky matchup, but we're going to let the first move go through. The opponent goes for Wild Charge, so they're clearly not running Payback. Unfortunately, we lose the CMP tie here, but I think this is just a Body Slam. It is the Body Slam, which we do live very comfortably, and we can get off several Ice Punches in this matchup. Actually grabbing a shield there since they did go for a Wild Charge. They have debuffed their defense. Ice Punch number 2 does land. It still doesn't do that much damage in all honesty, and now we're going to let this move go through. It will now be enough damage to take us out. We can come in with the Dugtrio. We do resist all the charge moves, but unfortunately, it's still going to do quite a lot of damage here. We do take them out with the Mud Slap damage though, and the opponent throws their energy. We're only one away from the Mud Bomb anyway, so it doesn't matter. Even if they didn't throw there, we could go for one Mud Slap, get off the Mud Bomb before the Incinerate damage registers, and Mud Bomb easily takes out the Skeledirge from that range, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, we see Golbat in the lead, so a fairly neutral matchup, and it'll be interesting to see if once again we go straight for that Ice Punch, and once again, like I said, it's throwing on alignment, so we give them a full move in for free, but we force the opponent to make the first move there. They also go and bait there with a Poison Fang. We swap into our Kling Klang, and we will be able to make it to the Hyper Beam as the opponent makes it to a power-up punch, and that does huge damage to the Scrafty. Unfortunately, not quite going to be able to flip this matchup, but they go for the power-up punch. They go for 2 extra counters there to take us out. And now we should be able to barely outpace them to an Ice Punch here before the opponent makes it to that foul play, but instead we're going to go for a shield once and then fully try to Hex, farm them down, come out with a ton of loaded energy, and the opponent comes back in with their Golbat. We're going for Ice Punch number 2. Ice Punch will grab the final shield from the opponent, and this, I think it might just be another Poison Fang here. Nope, it is the Shadow Ball, so we do correctly shield that up. Now, Ice Punch, obviously super effective. Poltergeist gonna do a lot more damage though. So Poltergeist takes out the Golbat. They've got a Shadow Alolan Ninetales in the back. We swap, we catch the move perfectly onto our Dugtrio. But Weather Ball does huge damage there, and it puts us into perfect farm down range where they come out of the matchup with another Weather Ball loaded. So that was really not ideal for us. Weather Ball takes us out, and unfortunately we lose that game. But into the next game, we see Shadow Golbat in the lead, so let's see if we go for the exact same play. No, this time we actually overfarm here. The opponent also overfarming, so that's fine. We still get off the charge move first. This time the opponent does choose to no shield, so we are still going to no shield. It is another Poison Fang bait. We're going to overfarm. This is definitely just another Poison Fang, so we're going to let that go through, bank a ton of energy, swap into Kling Klang, go for the farm down, and yet another Poison Fang coming through. We can safely let that go through, and we do get that Thundershock farm down. The opponent comes in with a Toxicroak, so not sure why they didn't just swap out, but we're full sending the Hyper Beam, one-shotting the Toxicroak there, and they come in with a Unnovan Stunfisk. Now, this isn't ideal. This Mirror Shot not going to do much damage at all. The opponent does let it go through, and we don't get the attack drop. But I think we still should be very fine in this matchup. We can go for the Ice Punch. We do have quite a lot of energy, so Ice Punch will be grabbing a shield from the opponent, and we barely don't make it, but we might actually live this if they go for the Mud Bomb here, which they do. We barely hang on. We can go for Ice Punch number 2. This probably grabs the final shield from the opponent. No, they actually just let that go through, and now they're in range where we can very easily double shield if we have to, go for the full Mud Slap farm down, and we will be able to take this game up against the Unnovan Stunfisk. They go for a second Mud Bomb, and the Mud Slap damage does register. It takes out the Stunfisk, and we're able to take that game. Into next game, we see Shadow Granbull in the lead, so going to save swap into our Steel type. The opponent responds with a Talonflame, and we will be able to make it to a Hyper Beam before the opponent can make it to a Flame Charge, but unfortunately they do use their shield there. We make it to a last second Mirror Shot, and if the opponent doesn't know our charge moves, they might actually shield. They do shield, they double shield their Talonflame, which is really nice for us, obviously, but we do lose switch advantage. They've got 100 energy, but that Mirror Shot does debuff their attack, so we can easily tank this. Very likely that they just went for that flame charge, and now they do have enough for a Brave Bird. We're going to use our shield, but they go for another flame charge. They swap back into their Shadow Gramble. We are going to bank a ton of energy once again, swap into our Dugtrio, but we have to use a shield here. The opponent goes for the Crunch. Crunch doesn't debuff us, but we are incredibly low here. We make it to a Mud Bomb, and I think that was a Quagsire coming in. Mud Bomb is going to do a lot of damage to the Shadow Quagsire, but they do get the Mud Shot farm down. We go for the Ice Punch immediately here, taking out the Quagsire. Well, it should be taking them out, but can we outpace the Talonflame to the Poltergeist? No, we're not able to do so, and a Flame Charge from this range will be taking out the Dusclops, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But into the next game, we see Medicham in the lead, so perfect to see it here in the lead. The opponent swaps into Golbat, we respond with our Klinklang, and we are going to let the first move go through, as the opponent is going to full send the Shadow Ball, but we do live that reasonably comfortably. We're now going to bait with a Mirror Shot, quite risky. Mirror Shot not going to do much damage whatsoever, but we do grab that shield, and the opponent goes for the full farm down, allowing us to reach a Hyper Beam, and the opponent lets the Hyper Beam go through. We grab a shield advantage and switch advantage, as the opponent comes in with a Poison Sting, Clodsire, and this is such a good matchup. When we've got two shields, we can just fully Mud Slap, farm them all the way down. They full send the Earthquake. Actually, we swap into our Dusclops there. I'm not sure why we did that, but then I'm also not sure why the opponent then swapped into their Medicham. That was a very strange play, but we're able to take that game. And into the next game, we see Trevenant in the lead once again. So once again, gonna go for that Ice Punch immediately. I do like this play because now we can force an early shield from the opponent. And if they do bait, then obviously we can very easily live that. They go for that Seed Bomb, and unfortunately, we do end up shielding. And once again, they've got Talonflame in the back. This time we actually don't farm all the way up to the Hyper Beam, and Mirror Shot does still grab a shield anyways. They're going to throw their energy, and we're actually going to shield here. I think all shields are now down, so Flame Charge coming through. We make it to the Hyper Beam, and what we should do there is go for 4 Thunder Shocks, just because the Incinerate damage does register anyways, but they wouldn't register the next Incinerate damage, so we could have obviously got 2 more Thunder Shocks in for free. But it doesn't really matter. We come in with our Shadow Alolan Dugtrio. Luckily, get the attack drop here, so Ice Beam will not be enough damage to take us out. The opponent swaps back into Trevenant. Honestly, they probably could have just farmed us down, which is great for us because now we can come back in with our Dusclops. And we will be able to outpace them to the Ice Punch. Ice Punch will be enough damage to take out the Trevenant from this range. And now all we need to do is make it to a Poltergeist. I think we should be able to live even a Play Rough from this range, but I don't know if this is the Play Rough. This might just be an Ice Beam. It is the Ice Beam, and we get to that Poltergeist in time. And Poltergeist from this range will be taking out the Azumarill, and we take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Dusclops into Medicham once again. So great to see it here. Opponent probably going to swap out, at least eventually. And they do swap into a Azumarill. So we're going to respond with our Klinklang. And we will be able to go for the Hyper Beam before the opponent throws a charge move here. Hyper Beam going to do big damage to the Azu. It should put them into range where we can just go straight Mirror Shot now. We're going to call they're not running Hydro Pump, or at least they're not throwing it. And they do go for an Ice Beam bait there. So perfectly good call there. We're now going for a great Mirror Shot. It still takes them out. They come back in with the Medicham, and we can make it to another Mirror Shot. This won't do much damage at all, but we do get the attack drop once again, which is really nice. And now we can come in with our Dusclops, very easily tank whatever they throw. They're probably just, okay, they're actually going to go for the charge move here. We can safely let this move go through. Psychic, not going to do much damage. They swap into Skeledirge, and we swap into our Shadow Alolan Dugtrio, and they're able to fully Incinerate, farm us down. We don't get the Hex in, but it shouldn't matter. They should be in range where 1 Hex takes them out anyway, so it didn't make a difference there. And now we can just go straight Ice Punch in this matchup. There's no point full sending the Poltergeist because they've got 2 shields remaining. They are probably going to double shield, but no, we're actually going to go for that Poltergeist anyways. And Poltergeist does get that final shield there, so a bit of a risky and unnecessary play. But we're now going to call that the opponent is baiting with just an Ice Punch, and we did call that correctly. Now we can safely shield up the next Ice Punch, and we should be able to outpace them to the Poltergeist. Honestly, Ice Punch nearly KOs from this range, but this will definitely take out the Medicham, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Dusclops into a Galarian Stunfisk. So this is a fairly neutral matchup. Obviously Fire Punch would be better for us. We can't afford to swap out because Kling Klang does get completely walled by the Stunfisk. The opponent there didn't even build up to the Earthquake, I don't think. We're going to build all the way to the Poltergeist, full sending it, landing it, dealing big damage to that Stunfisk. They now have enough energy for the Earthquake, but they bait with a Muddy Water. Are you kidding me? We're now going to let the next move go through here. They go for another Rock Slide there, and now we're going to swap. We try to catch the next Rock Slide, but I think this is actually a Muddy Water. It is. It debuffs our attack, and it is super effective, unlike the Rock Slide, which would be double resisted, so that didn't work out for us whatsoever. Mud Bomb at least grabs a shield there. I don't think it would take them out after that debuff. But we come back in with the Dusclops, we go straight for the Ice Punch. The opponent may be looking to farm us down with just the Vine Whip damage and then come out with a ton of loaded energy. We go for Ice Punch number 2, dealing super effective damage, but no, the opponent doesn't commit to the farm down here. They are going to throw a Frenzy Plant, and now we come in with our Kling Klang, and we probably have to let this move go through here, as the opponent is once again going to go for a Sludge Bomb. That is certainly not the play. And then up against Azumarill, the opponent has no shields remaining, but I think we should be going for Mirror Shot first, just because it does have that opportunity to debuff the opponent's attack here, because now unfortunately we have to shield even a resisted Ice Beam, but looks like actually we can just go for the back-to-back Hyper Beams. We get to Hyper Beam number 2. Hyper Beam will be taking out the Azu, and we should just be able to go for a Mirror Shot to take out the Stunfisk, but we don't throw our energy. They make it to the Muddy Water. Muddy Water takes out the Kling Klang, and we lose that game. So not sure if we just forgot that they were running Muddy Water there, but we needed to throw, and then we do resist the damage from that Venusaur. We probably could have just made it to another Mirror Shot, but oh well. Into next game, we see a Toxapex in the lead. This is great for our entire team actually, so we're probably going to let the move go through, and then we will swap into our Kling Klang. Once again, we need to bait out any potential fighting Pokemon that the opponent might have. The opponent is going to go for a Brine, not going to do much damage here, and we might even commit to the full Thundershock farm down. We are. They make it to another Brine, but we do live this. We can very comfortably tank that, and we can get the full farm down there, come out with so much loaded energy. They come in with a Turtonator, so we only get off one charge move. We go straight for the Hyper Beam, grabbing a shield from the opponent. And now we're going to come in with our Dusclops. We do have a decent amount of energy here, but they will barely outpace us to the first charge move. So we're going to use our shield as they go for a Dragon Pulse, go for the Poltergeist straight away. The opponent actually swaps out there into Aromatisse. So we're going to swap, go for the Mud Slap farm down, and we should just be able to Mud Slap, farm down the Turtonator from this range, although actually they are dealing a lot of damage with that Incinerate here. So we go for the Mud Bomb, grabbing the final shield, and we put them into range where Ice Punch should be enough damage to take them out, and we are just one away from that Ice Punch. They cannot bank back-to-back charge moves here with the Turtonator, so we make it to the Ice Punch, and Ice Punch will be taking out the Turtonator, and we're able to take that game. Alright, so going into the next battle, we see Dusclops into Talonflame, so this is quite tricky for our backline, especially if they continue to boost their attack, so we've got to be careful about how we play this. They're very unlikely to go straight for a Brave Bird here, so they go for that Flame Charge, and now they are going to boost their attack. We go for a bait with the Ice Punch here, quite risky, but we kind of need to grab a shield. We do grab that shield, which is great for us. We're now going to use our shield as they go for another Flame Charge. And now we are full sending the Poltergeist. We need them to let this go through. And the opponent does let it go through. We take them out there and they swap into Azumarill. So we come in with our Kling Klang immediately. Once again, they have got a Venusaur in the back. So we full send the Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam does big damage once again, not quite taking them out though. And this time the opponent is actually going to go for that Frenzy Plant there. You can see it does a lot more damage than the Sludge Bomb. And actually it puts us into range where they could have just farmed us down, but no, the opponent goes for the Ice Beam, and I do agree with no shielding there. We come in with the Dugtrio, knowing that we will make it to the Mud Bomb as they reach the next charge move, and this will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, so we can safely let this move go through as well, as the Ice Beam takes us out. But now we will be able to safely shield once in this matchup, go for the Poltergeist, and we've seen a few times already from this range, Poltergeist will easily be enough damage to take out the Azu here. So we go for the Poltergeist, taking out the Azumarill, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Dusclops into Medicham, so once again, great to see it in the lead. And the opponent is going to swap into a Noctowl, so we're going to bank an Ice Punch and then swap into our Klinklang. A little bit slow to swap out there, but I don't think it matters too much. The opponent does full send the Shadow Ball, not ideal for us as it kind of puts us into range where they probably can just go for a Sky Attack. But here we go for the Hyper Beam, and Hyper Beam doesn't quite take them out, which is unfortunate. We are actually going to shield in this matchup, shielding up the Shadow Ball, so that was the correct decision. We get the Thundershock farm down, and can we make it to a Hyper Beam into the Medicham? Coming back in. No, we barely don't get there. We should have settled for a Mirror Shot, but it doesn't really matter. It's not going to do much damage. We still need a Poltergeist to take them out. And here we swap. We try to catch a Dragon Claw. The opponent throws the Dragon Claw anyways. I think we should live this, but I don't believe we're going to make it to a Mud Bomb. And there you can see they just took us out with fully resisted charge moves, non-stab charge moves as well. Very embarrassing for that Dugtrio, but let's just see what we can do here. We build up to the back-to-back Ice Punches, throwing the first one, grabbing the shield, and the opponent doesn't throw, so we make it to Ice Punch number 2, throwing immediately, taking out the Charizard, and now we can very easily take out the Medicham. The opponent recognizing that, and they concede the match. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.